Hello, we're live and welcome to Full-Time. Manchester United 1, Fulham 1, European Super League 1, Fulham 1 yet again. I'm joined by Dan Cook.
Hi, guys.
And Freddie Cooper.
You're right, Jack. What a result that was.
Well, it's interesting then. There's plenty to talk about. And let's get into it. I suppose against Southampton, we spoke more about the future of Fulham than the actual game. But today, there was a lot of talking points. Edison Cavani scored from about 45 yards. Let's hear your opinions, because for me, that should have been disallowed and we could have then won the game subsequently. Dan, what the hell happened there?
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, when you look at it, and it is really clear to see on the replays when it goes past Fernandez's foot. I mean, it's not even that close, and you can tell by the way the ball's spinning. You can see the gap between the ball and his foot, and they hardly even looked at it. And that's the really confusing thing. And it feels, I don't like being that person who sort of preaches this big six bias, because there's a lot of times when it's not true. But you've got to say that surely it's had an effect. It's the first game back at Old Trafford. It's with fans there. Cavani scored an absolute wonder goal. I mean, it's an incredible finish. It's brilliant. And it just feels like they've sort of gone, do we want to disallow this? Do we want to look for reasons to disallow this? Probably not. And they've just given it. And then you look at the scrutiny that our goal has gone through, quite rightly, because it was a close offside decision. But there just doesn't seem to be a match there in the same game.
I think it's incredibly lazy. I mean, and it's not the first time this has happened this season. In terms of, they haven't taken long enough to look at it properly, Freddie. And ultimately, they looked at it at half time, and Graham Souness preached that he didn't touch the ball, and then he is offside. Someone tweeted that they should get the super, I think it's called, was it the super edge that you get in cricket, when you can see whether they actually touched the super. No, it's the
ultra edge.
I don't know what it is. Ultra edge. That's it. We got there in the end. But Freddie, VAR, we're going to be glad to see the back of it, surely.
Oh, 100%. I think that's one of the positives of us going down. So, but nevertheless, it is an extraordinary finish. It's audacious. And Cavani's been doing it all year for United, but to get to the point, it's as Dan said, it's like they've looked at the decision. They're like, look, there's 10,000 fans at Old Trafford. We could either piss all 10,000 off by disallowing it and doing the right thing, or let it slide. Let's just let it slide. It's a great goal. VAR is a complete and utter nightmare. I don't know how they're going to get rid of it. I think it's going to be with the Premier League for the foreseeable future and the big tournaments, to be honest. What a goal, though. What a goal.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from the finish. But there was a couple of instances in the game where VAR could have been called into it, and was called into it, obviously, with our goal. Joe Bryan got one in the face, and Stephen Warnock, rightly pointed out by our wonderful admin team, nose was bleeding.
Big up, Jeff.
Huge big up to Jeff there, if he's the one that's tweeted it. And it just shows, again, why I'm so glad to be out of the league at this current moment, because of the lazy punditry, the lazy officiating, and all round, Gary Neville on code comes from a Man United game, and he'll never really, well, he has actually slagged them off recently with the European Super League. But Dan, do you think maybe United could have got a sending off for what happened on Joe Bryan, and maybe even Fulham maybe got away with a couple of things as well?
I don't know. I think the Joe Bryan one, I think you can give or take, really. I mean, I don't know if there's a huge amount of intent there.
Greenwood, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Greenwood. I think he's just jostling with him. But I think the point you made about the lazy journalism is a very good one, because I think it was even watching the game then as well. You just hear certain things that even just you just like hearing, when Tom Cairney was taken out of the side at the start of the season, and you think, well, it's been very well documented that our club captain has been injured for quite a lot of this season. I think the decisions today, I don't have a huge amount of contention with a lot of them. I think it was the goal. Questionable, but I was surprised I didn't look at it. There was a moment in the first half when Carvalho went down in the box and we got a corner, which it wasn't, because it came off Carvalho, but there was definitely contact. And if it's not a corner, which it wasn't, but was given, then VAR should be looking at that, in my opinion. because I've seen a lot more soft penalty decisions given than that one. You know, we've seen this season, if a penalty is given on pitch and there is contact, they just decide, right, that's a penalty. But I'm just surprised that it didn't get looked at all.
Crazy, wasn't it? And the best chance in the first half for Fulham fell to the boy wonder Fabio Carvalho. Went through on goal, and really he should have scored. He should have scored his second in 2 games. Fred, what chance that was?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it was. Maybe the fact there was fans in the stadium, maybe the nerves. But I mean, in the heat at the moment, he's 18 years old. He's so young. I mean, he's going to learn through these kind of big opportunities that he's missed. But what a player! I think we got to kind of mold the squad around him next year. I think he's going to be a massive, massive, massive part if we hold on to him. I don't want this to be like Harvey Elliott. I don't think it will be. I think we'll hold on to him. Yeah, I mean, he beat, I think it was Tuanzebe. He beat Tuanzebe. And then all he's got to do is to take another touch to De Gea. And then he's got that easy right-hand corner finish in the bottom corner. And he's just decided to hit it first time. Obviously, probably the heat in the moment is probably taking him to take that decision, to be honest. Yeah,
complete rush of blood for Fabio Carvalho. Again, another really impressive performance. The guy is full of energy and in a team that's down on their luck in terms of we're relegated and it's all over for us. He's a real bright spark and someone we can be really excited about for next season, as we mentioned as well on Saturday. Just looking at a couple of the comments here. Why did Parker sub on Ruben Loftus-Cheek? Dad, please solve the mystery.
I think you can even go like the issue. Yeah, he's come on, but I think the additional issue that he took Carvalho off, who again, I mean, he showed it against Southampton, and he did it again today. He genuinely was our biggest attacking threat. I mean, I was watching the game today, and I really would like a definitive number on the number of attacks that we have had this season that have been broken down by and ended by Ivan Cavallero, because he did it again today. And you look at Carvalho and the running he had, he was the one player in our team today who had the pace to get in behind United. They've got quite a mobile back four, and he got in behind them in that moment. A couple of times he tracked back, he put in a couple of good challenges on the edge of the area. And so taking him off for one was an odd decision, because he looked disappointed himself. He wasn't carrying the knock. He didn't look tired. And then to throw Loftus-Cheek on into a sort of nothing position where we've seen all season that he just doesn't perform well in those parts of the pitch. And what is he going to offer when we're trying to counter a United side? It was weird, especially if you're taking this stance that, look, we're trying to phase out our lone players. Why are you trying to still persist with playing him after not playing him on Saturday?
I think this is the thing, though. I think I'm utterly adamant that we've got a clause in with Chelsea that we've got to play him X amount of games.
Completely.
Because we had this with Ojo, I think, 3 years ago. Shea Ojo, what a bloke. But we played him, I think we played him like 8 games in a row, and he was absolutely pony. I think this is a similar thing with Loftus-Cheek. I mean, we got to fill up the appearances, and we've got one left. I'm going to the Newcastle game. The last thing I want to see is Loftus-Cheek. Sadly, well, not sadly, he's terrible, but I think it's an appearance-based reason why he's coming on pointlessly.
We must also hark back to the team news, because we've basically just kind of gone straight to the game. Timothy Ream started for Fulham today in what looked like a back three, and of course Reed also went off injured, which is a real shame. It's fortunate it's the end of the season now, so it won't impact us too much, and hopefully he'll be okay for pre-season. But let's start, Dan, with Tim Ream. My guessing, what I put on the chat earlier, is that this could be his last game for the club. And I won't lie, I was watching the Oxford-Blackpool game at the same time, so I wasn't watching as intently as I probably should have. But what did you think of his performance today back in the side?
Genuinely don't think he played that badly. I genuinely thought that you look at some of the performances we've seen from Tim Ream, especially in the Premier League, and I agree with Steve. I don't know if I'd say fabulous, but I thought he was good. I thought he didn't look out of place. You still benefit from the fact that he is what you would describe as a ball-playing centre-back. He's comfortable on the ball, and as a team that even when we're playing the system we play today, we still want to play out from the back. I think he fit in pretty well. I think the bigger liability in defence, I mean, in the first half was Lamina. I mean, I know he filled in there at the weekend when we were looking for a goal, but why he started on the right hand side of the back three, I'll never know.
Parker.
Yeah, but I genuinely thought he looked fine, and I was actually more concerned in the game in general than Tosin. I thought Tos looked he looked rusty. His distribution was poor. He gave the ball away quite a lot. And he's just concerned me in the past, I don't know, maybe a month or so, I think, and we saw him get dropped. It is a bit concerning seeing sort of the drop-off we've seen in Tosin. But I mean, if Ream's going to play like that in the Championship, there's merit to keeping him in the squad. I don't think he should be a first-choice centre-back. But if he can put in those sort of performances and still capable of it, I think there's merit to keeping him.
Yeah, he could be in and around the squad. He could be off to the MLS. You never know. I think is he out of contract? I'm not really sure. Just a word on Harrison Reed, Freddie, because he's probably not going to play next week, given he's injured now. So that will be his last contribution this season. But we've gone down. It's sad, but he's been a marvelous signing for us, and one that we're going to keep on for next season, surely.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, he is our rock in the midfield, and he's just proven his worth that he can do it in the Premier League as much as the Championship last season. It's sad that he's injured, but as you said, Jack, we got pre-season. Hopefully he's back for the opening day in August with full fans, hopefully. Get a good reception. Yeah, we got to keep on to him. I think no matter how much teams are going to offer, obviously unless it's extortionate, but if it's a bit over the odds that we thought we'd get for him, just keep on to him because he's so valuable for this team. And he looks like a really good character in and around the dressing room, to be honest. Really friendly bloke. I've met him before after games. So fingers crossed we keep on to him. Fingers crossed the injury's not too bad.
I think what helps us with Harrison as well is that he does a lot of the nitty-gritty jobs that unless you're specifically looking and watching him and looking for a player like him, he slips under the radar. We as a club and a fan base rave about him. But I wonder if you went outside that, how many people would know the contribution that he provides to this team. And I think that might be something that helps us keep a hold of him. He's not someone who's going out every week and excelling on the pitch and taking men on and creating chances. He does that difficult work at the base, which I think might help us keep him.
Another word on the team news today, no Mitrovic on the bench. Now, I'm not sure what to read into this. There's a debate that's going to rumble on for a while about Mitrovic versus Parker. I just want your thoughts on it. Basically, start with you, Dan. Mitrovic just hasn't been his season, and my theory is that once we get full capacity back into the ground and we will go Mitro, he will absolutely love being here, and that's 100%. What Mitrovic is about. He feeds off the fans, and what scares me is that we come to August and he's no longer going to be a Fulham player, which really is really tough to take.
Yeah, it's gutting. I thought it knocked me, I'll be honest, when I saw the team selection today, because without him in the squad, that's never going to be a good sign. I think you could see it against Southampton. He did not look happy on the bench. And, when you're going to Madja over him when we were looking for a goal, you can have whatever reasoning behind that and you can discuss whether it was the right decision. But from Mitro's perspective, he's sent a player in who's on loan, who hasn't done a huge amount. You couldn't say he's done more than Mitrovic has this season. They've both been not particularly great. But it's something that I said, I tweeted it earlier, and I genuinely was feeling it at the time, that I found it more gutting today that the prospect that we might lose Mitrovic than the fact that we're already relegated. Because I think he is one of the few players who has really connected with the fans since he's come in 3 years ago. He formed a real bond with the fan base, and he's an absolute fan favourite. He loves the club, and I think as fans we love to see that. We love to see players who are out on the pitch and genuinely loving playing for the club. And I think you're right that we just need to see if we can hold on to him until we can get some fans singing his name, and then maybe things will change. But I think that heavily depends on what his relationship with Parker's like at the moment, and it doesn't seem good.
Yeah, because it seems as if you would assume that Parker doesn't want him in his plans for the Championship next season, which is
mental. It's mental.
26 goals last season, Freddie, and he basically sent us up. There was a stat the other day that was read out on the podcast the other day that was like, without his goals, we would have just stayed up on goal difference or something, or his goals and assist contributions. We have to do everything we can to try and keep Mitrovic, and it might just be a situation where it's Parker out and Mitrovic in. Freddie, I really want to know what you think, your thoughts on this.
Well, I hate to think that it's either Micho that stays or Parker that stays, really. We got to hold on to him. I mean, even if we get good money for him, I still think if we have fans in the stadium, he is the best Championship striker in the league. He is a emphatic goal scorer in the Championship, and we've got this. We don't need to go out and spend 25 million for Adam Armstrong or whoever. We've got a player in our team who has got the same goal caliber as Adam Armstrong, or if not better. It's so sad that it's kind of got to this point with Parker and Mitrovic. I mean, there's been so many factors why Micho has been off fire, excuse the pun, but the Serbia miss, I mean, the Sheffield United game, I mean, that game was awful for him. I can't see why one game's distorted all his playing style, but loads of other reasons. And I think the fans, if we're screaming Micho for the whole game, he's obviously going to get pumped up, and he's one of those players that needs an extra voice behind him as well as the players. I hope we hold on to him, but at the moment, I really can't see it. I think Parker's going to stay, like it or not, in whichever what your outlook is on that. But I think Mitro's going to go, and I think we're going to try and sell him abroad. I don't think we're going to get good money for him in the Premier League. I think the best possible, if you're trying to sell him, probably Europe, Inter Milan, a team like that who needs a plan B if they're losing. He's he's the only real target man in world football at the moment because they're going out of fashion. His playing style, lob it up to him, control it. It's going out of fashion now. You need quick players on the break. He's not that anymore, but he does score your goals in the Championship, and he did it in the Premier League 2 years ago. We were awful. We were utterly dreadful that year. 13 goals for us, as unheard of. That team was awful, and he managed to scrape 13 goals. Yeah, incredible player, incredible servant for the club. It's going to be sad if he leaves, and I don't think he's going to stay, to be honest, sadly, Jack.
I think there will be tears. I think there will be tears if he leaves. Not from probably myself and a lot of other Fulham fans. It's gutting, obviously, and I think back to the Aston Villa game away, and he started and scored, albeit it was a mistake from Tyrone Mings. He went around the keeper and scored. We went on to lose the game, but if we'd have won that game, I think he would have kept his place, and obviously Fulham might have been in a different position in the table. But let's move on from the whole Parker Mitrovic situation. Let's talk a little bit more about Scott Parker. Lots of fans are feeling as if he's talking. He doesn't want to talk about anything beyond this season, which for me worries me because it means that he wants out because of the friction between the owners and Scott Parker at the moment. Dan, do you think he's a man who wants out and is looking for different things, or do you think he's just extremely frustrated with the hierarchy?
I think both. I think one of the things that he said midweek, before this game, I think it was either Sunday or yesterday, he said that he hadn't spoken to people again and that he was just focusing on the last two games of the season. Now, that sent alarm bells ringing for me, because that's the sort of comment you hear an interim manager say. For example, someone who's come in at the end of the season, my job's just to focus on these last two games. That absolutely isn't Scott Parker's job right now. You know, his focus shouldn't be on the last two games. It should be on the next 12 months.
Kind of next
because
year,
it's we've got to be looking forward. And it just didn't sound like a man who was entirely sure whether he was going to be here or not. And I don't think he knows whether he wants to stay, whether he will stay. And I think he doesn't know whether they're going to push him, if he's going to jump, or if everything's going to be okay. And we needed to sort that out now, because we should already be planning on who we've got for next season, who we're going to keep, who we're going to buy. And if we spend the next month umming and ahhing over if Parker's staying, if they're going to sack him, if he's going to leave himself, then we waste a month. And again, we take ourselves deeper and deeper into transfer window without doing any business.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. Because we're in a situation where we've been relegated for quite some time now. So we should already be looking at targets for next season. Yet the boards and Parker are not even communicating about the fact that we've been relegated. I mean, you couldn't make it up. Let's get back to, we haven't talked about the fact that Fulham scored today, and the man who sent us into the Premier League is going to score maybe one of the last Premier League goals we scored this season. Joe Bryan, Freddie, a goal at the back post. Bobby decored over Reed, was onside after a long extended look at with VAR. Good to get on the score sheet for Joe Bryan, because he's had a tough year not being in the team.
Yeah, I hope he features next year, and I think he will. He's going to battle it out with Robinson, Jedi. I mean, Robinson was so good for probably half until halfway of the season against that red card when he got against Chelsea. And he's dropped off recently. But what you get with Joe Bryan is, and if you keep Mitro, he can deliver 6-7 times out of 10 a great ball for the striker. And he did the opposite today on the receiving end with a header with himself. It's a great ball by Bobby. He's been quiet, so I'm glad he's probably getting a bit of confidence through that. I mean, the VAR took ages. He purposely tried to hold his line. So if you're trying to catch him out of VAR there, you can see him like he's putting his shoulders in front because he doesn't want to get called offside. Great ball and great header by Joe Bryan. It sent 10,000 United fans very, very quiet for the last 10 minutes of the game, or however, I think it was 13 minutes left because he scored in the 77th.
Yeah. And also there was that shot of the United fans leaving early. I mean, you wait all that time to get in the ground. What do you think of that, Dan?
I said it, I was watching it with my flatmate, and I genuinely said to him that there is no legitimate reason. I could not think of a single legitimate reason for three of you, to just walk out with 5 minutes left to go. Because, you've got a train to catch, get the later train,
Exactly.
I just can't see how, I've been gagging, everyone has been gagging to get back into the stadium. And it was sort of classic go away to a top six club, and it's almost like they settled back into their groove. It was like, 5 minutes left, we'll get the earlier train, it's only Fulham. I do want to just quickly go back to Joe Bryan, because I was absolutely chuffed for him today, because you can, if you just take out the football sort of perspective, we all love Joe. He is seems like one of the most genuinely good blokes in football. Just seems like a lovely guy. And I felt really bad for him this season, because you can say that, maybe he didn't deserve to play that often, or you can argue that he did. But as a person, I felt like it's been really tough on him to have a solid season in the Championship, suspect defensively, yes, but going forward, regularly delivering. So I was really happy to see him back in the squad, delivering. He put in today a couple of really beautiful balls as well, but he just had no one to aim for, because we're playing a front three who are less than 5'8" each of them. And so I was chuffed for him. I thought he really deserved that.
Yeah, here. I think the guy is just genuine class on and off the pitch, and I think, look, the Joe Bryan and Mitro combo is what we want to see. I mean, that just creates goals, and unfortunately, we might not be able to see that. We've got one more Premier League game to go, and that is the one that was touted as the biggest game of the season with Newcastle at home. It's obviously not going to be that sort of occasion anymore. And Freddie, did you say you were going to the game?
Yeah, I am. I'm only going.
We're all going.
Are you going? You guys going? You guys all going?
We're all going. Yeah.
Oh, that's great to hear. I mean, 40 quid is extortionate. Let's not forget about that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Swansea are in the playoff semi-final, second leg, biggest game since probably last year against Brentford. But they're charging absolutely nothing. Yeah. This is an anticlimactic game, and they're charging £40. Luckily, I'm under 18, so I'm only paying 20. But it's going to be, hopefully, the fans are going to be appreciated. Let's hope we can get a win. It doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be, I'm glad to tick one game off at least of this behind closed door season.
I think that was it. I think that was the reason I just opted to go, is the fear of missing out. I hate missing games when fans are there. But look, let's all meet up before the game and have a pint, and for you, Freddie, an orange juice. And I will have a good one. Sprite. Any final thoughts and feelings before we wrap up?
I just think one thing on the fact that we're going, fans going back to the game. I've seen people questioning, why are people going? Why would you buy a ticket for that? And I think I'd like to my final point on almost this season, probably in the sense that I really like this squad. There's a lot of players in this squad that I really like, and I think it would just be nice to just get an opportunity to show appreciation to Joachim Andersen, Mario Lemina.
What a player.
Lookman, they've all come in, they've put in a hell of a shifts. Addy, he tailed off towards the end of the season, but we've had some players who have formed a good bond with the fans despite us not being able to see them live once. And so I'm genuinely looking forward to just giving them a little bit of a send off and a little bit of appreciation. Yes, we're going down, but it's not for lack of trying for me.
Yeah. Freddie? I have to echo that. I mean, Areola, Anderson, Ola, Aina, I don't think them three are going to stay. It's just going to be nice to kind of clap them off after the game. Hopefully do a lap of honour. I'm sure they've got that organised. And I mean, it's been a pretty poor year. You can't lie. It's another relegation, but not being in the stadium probably softens the blow, to be honest. But by being in the stadium for the last time, it's going to be... Yeah, it's been. I've missed the game so much. I'm sure everyone has. Every football fan, not just not even on this full time. Every Fulham fan, every football fan. So it's gonna be nice to have a last saloon clap for the players that we're not going to see next year, unfortunately. But having said that, I really hope Mario Lemina stays because I think he generally loves the club and he's going to absolutely tear it up in the Championship if he stays with us. And I don't think their release clause is that extortionate that we can trigger.
Yeah, it's definitely something we can look at. And of course, we haven't had a Riverside update for about 2 or 3 days, so it'd be nice to see what that's looking like at these.
See the swimming pool
at the moment. Yeah, have a dip in the pool. Well, that we'll probably wrap it up there. I mean, Fulham have got a point today at Manchester United. I'm sure Scott Park will be proud of the performance, and he'll say we live in a world where we're getting results at top 6 clubs, but we're not staying up in the Premier League. But
fine margins.
My thanks to Freddie.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack.
My thanks to Dan as well.
Beautiful. Thanks for having us, Jack.
This has been Full-Time Live. I'll be back tomorrow with an SW6 Essential with Joe Sansom. But as for the podcast, we'll be out on Thursday, and then we go again on Sunday for the last game against Steve Bruce's Newcastle United, and then we head down to the Championship, and we go away to the likes of Peterborough. And perhaps Blackpool. Yeah. They're 3 up in their first leg.
August opening day in Blackpool. That will be magical. Come on,
take
please.
Over any Premier League away day.
The Easter 2 games, you got the Friday and Monday. One of them has to be Coventry away with about 4,500 Fulham fans and that beautiful big away end at the Ricoh Arena. Fingers crossed. Thanks very much for watching, and enjoy your evening. See you later.
Enjoy your evening.